Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Folge 6 von If My Heart Had Wings. In der letzten Folge wurde Aoi morgens von AGH am Dorm begrüßt, die mit ihm zusammen zur Schule gehen wollte. Und gemeinsam überzeugen sie sogar Kotori mal zur Schule zu kommen. Die will dann aber verfrüht abhauen, weil sie keine Lust mehr hat. Aoi steht am Schultor, um sie daran zu hindern und trifft dabei zufällig auf das Mädchen, das er am Vortag in der Garage getroffen hat. Mittlerweile weiß er, dass sie Super Repeat Student Amane Mochizuki ist. Er hilft ihr dann mit der Box mit schweren Dingen, die sie dabei hat, zur Garage zu gehen. Dort trifft er Kotori, die sich da versteckt hat, und gemeinsam staunen sie über den Glider, den Amane in der Garage stehen hat. Seid ihr bereit für eine tolle Lehrstunde in Aviation? Hier kommt sie.
Oh, this tastes good. Amane was wolfing down a Neoplant. Wolfing down a Neapolitan past the lunchbox, and Kotori and I both had a face that seemed to say, "Whoa," and looked on in amazement. Why would we say "whoa"? Well, to see such a beautiful girl, to see something like that, I feel really disappointed. Oh. She didn't know that when she was eating ice cream like a crazy idiot, I had the same reaction when I was watching her. By the way, the thing that Amane was eating was the lunchbox that I had brought. As usual, the boarders? Hadn't eaten the breakfast I had made for them, so I packed it as my lunch. I had made 2 lunchboxes. One was for me. As for the other one, I thought that if Kotori was going to go to school, she might have found it difficult at lunchtime, so I was worried about her and brought another lunchbox. That's why I was chasing her. If she didn't eat it, I thought that I might eat them both myself, but she ran away before I could ask her. But is this okay? For me to eat your whole lunchbox? Asked Amane, although she'd already eaten most of it before asking. That's no way. I've already eaten my one. I was hungry during morning recess, so I had lunch early. Relieved to hear my answer, Amane continues to enjoy the cold Neapolitan pasta. Woo, this is delicious. It's been a while since I had proper food like this. Sagt ihr das jeden Tag? Das worried einen einfach echt. Diese Menschen, wo man das Gefühl hat, man muss einfach immer auf die aufpassen, weil die nicht für sich selbst sorgen können. Nein, das kenne ich eigentlich nur aus Anime. Real Life, nie gesehen. Did you have anything to eat after I saw you yesterday? I only gave her 1 piece of bread. Amane stopped moving her chopsticks and took a good look at my face. Ah! God damn it, Mädchen. Oh, kind of hurts, doesn't it? Could it be that you're the person who gave me that bread yesterday? You've only just realized. Well, I was concentrating on something yesterday. She really is weird. Oh, I see. So, this is the second time you saved me. She looked at me with eyes that sparkled like a little kid's. If she were a dog, her tail would definitely be wagging like crazy. I received that bread from you approximately 20 hours ago. Prior to that, the last meal I had eaten was roughly 70 hours earlier. I counted on my fingers. Oof. If they are 24 hours, and that's 3 days ago. I went to Taioken and ate pork and ramen with all the toppings. The soup was rich and delicious. She recalls this and her face looks like she's about to start drooling. Oh Mädchen, wenn du Essen so genießt, ist mehr davon. Sie tut mir echt leid einerseits, andererseits kann ich es nicht nachvollziehen. Why don't you eat? Are you on a diet? I forgot. Huh? When I'm thinking about something, I forget about everything else. That's because I'm stupid. Amane replied with pride. I'd prefer it if she didn't compare it to when people forget things because they're hungry. Are you building this glider? Yeah. Are you doing that here? The Soaring Club used this garage as a clubhouse. Soaring Club? I wasn't familiar with that name. What's soaring? Yeah. Yeah. Things that don't go well in translation. Soaring is to fly a glider by rising air currents. Flying a glider by riding riding the rising air currents. I kind of get it, but on the other hand, I don't get it. So the aim of the club is to make and fly a glider? Well, yeah, that's right. So this garage is used for club activities after all. Even so, it's pretty spacious. A glider is like an airplane, isn't it? Is it something you can make yourself? Yeah, I can make it. Because it's a man-made object, there's no reason why you can't make it, right? Yeah, well, yes and absolutely no. I have a feeling that's not what she's asking. However, Amane answered the question in all seriousness. How do you make it? Well, rather than explaining it, it's quicker if you actually make one yourself. Damn, how difficult is it to explain that? Hold on a moment. As said as Amane slurped up the last of the Neapolitan with extremely bad manners. Wiping round her mouth with the tissue. Ooh, good. Manners improving. Level up. She started rummaging through a desk drawer. Where did that thing go? Peeking inside the drawer, somehow I get the impression that Amane is a typical disorganized person. Rather than things being put away, it was more like they were stuffed in. Oh, here it is. This is it. Jetzt... Nah, never mind. Don't mind me. The thing that Amane had taken out was a paper airplane construction kit made using cardboard. That's not the same thing, I believe. Okay, try to make one. Without thinking, Kotori and I looked at each other. I feel that manufacturing a glider and making a paper airplane are completely different things. But for now, I'll try doing as she says. Okay. Using glue and a craft knife, in about 10 minutes we'll finish the paper plane. Finished! All done. Amane takes the plane that Kotori had made and takes a good look. Then she threw it. The paper airplane floated gently as it flew and landed near the wall on the other side of the garage. It flew straight forward very nicely. It's a good plane. Kotori seems embarrassed at being complimented. There are many types of airplanes. There are jumbo jets, small Cessnas, fighter planes, then there are paper airplanes like the one you just threw. But all of them fly based on the same principle. Paper airplanes and jumbo jets are the same? Yes, the principles are the same. Using their wings to float in the air in order to fly. Kotori and I both tilted our heads in puzzlement. We both had a skeptical look on our faces. I can understand that a light paper airplane can fly by riding the wind, but it's hard to imagine that a giant hunk of metal can float in the sky on the same principle. There must be some other method that allows it to fly. Leute, wie alt seid ihr? Physik und... Amane goes to pick up the paper airplane that she had just thrown. I'd like you to take a good look. Can the two of you see what the difference is between this airplane and this paper one? The size and the material? Also, whether or not people ride on it. That's right. Then there's whether or not it has an engine. On the other hand, everything is the same. Here we have the principles of flight. Regular airplanes are made from mostly the same parts as this. First there's the body. Next are the main wings. The horizontal tail plane. The vertical tail plane. There are a few airplanes that have a somewhat quirky shape, but even in those cases they still have mostly the same parts, or other parts that fulfill a similar role. Once you put it like that, I guess she's right. I've never paid that much attention to it though. By the way, do you know how an airplane floats on the air? Because it has lift. Ah, was für eine tolle Antwort. Sagt absolut gar nichts. That's right. Like the force of a fluid moving over a wing, lift is said to be the vertical component in accordance with the direction of the flow. I look baffled again and Amane smiles a little and rephrases it. In other words, it's the force that makes the wings float up on the air. That's not a very helpful explanation actually. Lift is created here, on the main wings. When air hits wings from the front, the airflow divides, going over and under the wings. I can just imagine the wings cutting the air like a blade. At that time, there's a difference in the speed of the airflow above and below the wing, and the pressure drops on the side that has the faster airflow. Das ist sogar passende physikalische Erklärung, danke. That's Bernoulli's Theorem? Really? Ich hätte der Typ nur so Wahrscheinlichkeitsrechnungszeug gemacht. Amane nods. Standing beside her, I'm a little freaked out as she so easily comes out with a word like Bernoulli. Yeah, I guess for Japanese people. What the hell is that? We're taught that in class, right? We didn't learn that in my school. Maybe. That's why the airplane's wings are designed so that the air flows faster on the upper side. This is in order to lower the pressure on the upper side. By doing this, the pressure on the lower side is higher in comparison, and then the air lifts the wings up. The air lifts the wings up. It's a phenomenon that's hard to suddenly imagine. So, that's Bernoulli's theorem. Amane nodded as if to say yes. There's one more thing. The air flowing over the top of the wing bends downwards because of the wing surface, causing downforce behind it. As she explains, Amane is drawing a cross-section of a wing. According to that, an airplane, the wings are flat at the bottom, and the top is shaped like a mountain, so it seems like it is semicircular. Apparently, the air on the upper side flows along the raised curved surface and then bends to flow downwards. As for the question of why the air flows along the raised surface, it can only be said that this because of the nature of the air. Okay, or so it would seem. This downforce, according to Newton's third law, causes the same reaction of the wing, which lifts it in an upward direction. Reaction lifts up the wing? When a heavy basketball hits the ground, doesn't it seem that it's floating weightlessly? What? What? That doesn't make any sense at all. It's the same as that. Does that mean that when the wing drops in the air, the reaction causes it to float? So when the lift exceeds the weight of the airplane can fly through the air. For example, it's the same for a jumbo passenger airliner with a total weight of several hundred tons. Theoretically, that may be so, but I still couldn't imagine how enough lift to cause a several hundred-ton airplane to take off could be created. However, airplanes do actually fly in the sky. The main wings that create the lift are the parts necessary to make the airplane fly in the sky. I don't know if I understand or not. However, I understood that the main wings are the most important part. Next are the tailplanes, of which there are two types, vertical and horizontal. These are added to stabilize the position of the airplane when in mid-air. An airplane floats in mid-air, which is much more unstable than we humans are when standing on the ground. The one going straight up is the vertical tailplane. This stabilizes lateral movement. The ones extending out sideways, the same as the main wings, are the horizontal tailplanes. These move vertically, in other words, stabilizing the up and down movements of the nose. Without this, even a paper airplane won't fly straight. I see. So that's why they have small wings on the tail. Then there's the body. This doesn't have a direct relationship to flight, but if you don't have this, there's nowhere to attach the wings. And that is the basic form of an airplane. That hasn't changed since a long time ago, since the era of the Wright brothers. Since that long ago? But the Wright brothers were the first people in the world to fly a plane, right? So nothing has changed since the very first one was made. The Wright brothers were the first to fly using powered flight. Gliders were being flown even before that. Yeah, I guess so. I always thought that the Wright brothers were the first to fly. If you know the role of the wings, you should try it on this paper airplane. For example, if you were to bend the vertical tail plane a little, like this. The plane that emanated through curved gently as it flew. Also, if you curve this part of the main wing a little. She bent the left and right main wings so that they twisted at the back. This time the plane twisted as it flew. Hey, that's pretty interesting. Seeing this, Kotori started to adjust the tailplane on her own paper airplane. Watch this! Full of confidence, Kotori threw her paper airplane. Whoa! Ah! It did a beautiful loop, the loop before landing. That's cool, it did a loop, the loop! This paper airplane is really interesting. Kotori and I both get really engrossed in adjusting the wings and playing around. Sometimes the paper airplanes display some mid-air aerobatics, and other times they didn't fly at all and crashed into the ground. However, by trying it for ourselves, we were able to get a real understanding of the role of the wings. But just changing the shape of the wings a little, you can make them fly in many different ways. Actual airplanes have many smaller wings, such as ailerons. The aircraft is controlled by adjusting them. As she explained, Amane moved to the side of the garage. Then she lovingly laid her hand on the glider. This glider doesn't have an engine. It is like a bigger and more robust paper airplane. The only thing that has been added is the cockpit. Kotori and I looked at the paper airplanes in our hands. I imagine riding it and flying through the sky. This is just like the fantasies I envisioned as a kid. The glider in front of me was the real thing. How about it? You just felt like you could make one, didn't you? But it doesn't have an engine. How does it fly? Paper airplanes gain thrust by being thrown by people. By riding the wind. Both I and Kotori gazed at the white aircraft. That day we saw this flying from Windmill Hill, riding the wind. That expression expresses it so perfectly, the way it flew so smoothly and calmly. Riding the wind. Amane nods happily. Then, by riding rising air currents, you can fly anywhere. Anywhere? Yes, you can even go above the clouds. Above the clouds. Kotori looked at the aircraft with an expression of disbelief. I also couldn't imagine this thing flying above the clouds. Have you been there? Above the clouds? Well, that's, suddenly her mood drops. I only put it together recently and finally took it out on a test flight. It was that time! Ah! Kotori and I react by exchanging glances. The wings weren't strong enough and snapped halfway through. Oh. Huh? So, you mean... Yeah, it was pretty dangerous. If they had broken completely, I might have fallen to my death in the lake. Hahaha. She laughed as she spoke. I have to rebuild them. It's because I'm not so good with my hands. Also, I know some of the instruments are broken, but I'm having trouble getting my hands on the parts. Why don't you make them yourself? Kotori said that so easily. At school where things like this are taught, they have all the equipment you need to make anything, from a screw to an aircraft. Okay, das ist eigentlich Engineering halt schon ziemlich cool. Wenn ich irgendwann alt und alleine bin, ja, dann werde ich 10 Katzen auf dem Tierheim haben und eine Schmiede in meinem Hinterhof. Und dann kann ich mir auch ein Flugzeug bauen. That's no good either. Amane, with a troubled look on her face, took some broken parts from a drawer. The diaphragm was one of the parts used to make the airspeed controller. This was a special order. The factory of this was made shut down a long time ago. Kotori and I gazed at the parts in the palm of Amane's hand. It certainly looks it wouldn't be easy to make. If it's the kind of thing that can be made in the town factory, there might be something that can be done about it. Amane's eyes light up as I quietly mumble. Really? Oh well, I don't know until I ask, but I know someone like that. Really? Please, if I don't have this, I'll be in a real fix. Okay, I'll try not asking next time I see him. Can I borrow this? Thank you. This will be the 3rd time you saved me. Okay, what? Whoa. Suddenly she gives me a full-on hug and we're even cheek to cheek. Okay, girl. Thank you, thank you. You can thank me once I've actually got it. Oh yes, I guess you're right. But this includes thanks for lunch. So let me express my thanks one more time. Ey, dieses Mädchen. No, that's enough, seriously. Really? Oh, sie sieht so enttäuscht aus. Nice, Kotori. Nice. Menschen, die keine Probleme mit körperlichem Kontakt haben. Kotori was sullenly glaring at me. Reminds me of... No, never mind. I wonder if this will really fly. Kotori and I both gazed at the glider with the same look on our faces. By the way, you two. If you're interested in gliders... The bell rings, interrupting Amane. Amane flinches in surprise and quickly turns her back to us. If we're interested, what is it? No, it's nothing. Forget about it. Somehow it seems she's avoiding something. Amane? What? Can I come and see you again? Yeah, of course. If you're interested, come anytime. I have to bring her those parts as well. You too. Come again. Sure. Wie sie diese Bildermax reinfügt, ist ein bisschen weird. As Kotori nods, Amane grins as she nods back. She's really beautiful, but her smile somehow makes her look like a little kid. Alright, shall we go back to the classroom? Ich dachte, Schule ist durch. Nee, never mind, das nicht. Ah, richtig, sie wollte zu Lunchtime rausschleichen. Huh? You're not going anywhere. I started pushing Kotori's wheelchair and decided to start walking. Hey, where are you taking me? The classroom, of course. No, stop! No, stop! I'm hungry and I haven't had lunch yet. Dieses Gesicht. You reap what you sow. I said stop! Hey! Don't push me! Oh, completely helpless. I brought Kotori with me against her wishes and we returned to the classroom. Aoi. I went back to the dormitory and someone called out to me when I was at the gate. Okay. I went back to the dormitory and someone called out to me when I was at the gate. Ah, ich habe schon wieder die Buttons verwechselt. Man kann hier nämlich nicht mit Space weitermachen. Mit Space macht man einfach nur die UI weg. Man kann den Hintergrund betrachten. Mit Enter macht man weiter. Ah. Tatsuya. Aoi. Anchan! When I saw who it was, my level of enthusiasm went up by 500%. Standing there was Anchan. I was thinking about going to see you tomorrow or somewhen. Somewhen? Is that a word? I wanted to meet you soon, so I skipped work to come here. It's been a long time, Aoi. Anchan ruffles my hair. Hey, stop that, will ya? Completely ignoring my attempts to resist, Anchan gives me a noogie, grinding my hair round and round. I think that my hair is probably messed up pretty badly now. This is Tatsuya Igarashi, commonly known as Anchan. He's a childhood friend of Ageha and mine, and is like a real big brother to us. He's much older than us, but we used to play together a lot as kids. Oh jeez, you're messing up my hair. Ah, sorry. When I remember the past, I couldn't help it. You haven't changed either, Anchan. Still the same as before. Hey, that's not a compliment, is it? Oh, isn't it? Of course, people can't get stuck in a rut. People change, you know? Das ist das, was ich die ganze Zeit gedacht habe, als die sich alle immer gegenseitig gesagt haben, oh, du bist genauso wie früher, kein Stück anders. Du hast dich überhaupt nicht verändert, so. Das ist so, ja, und, ja, nee, weiß nicht. I agree, Tatsuya. What Anchan says is true, but to me, I'd rather Anchan just stays the same as he is now. As I think about that, Anchan all of a sudden has a kind look on his face. Is your leg okay now? Yeah, well, enough for everyday life. I see. Naruhodo. It must have been tough. It's no big deal, I can have a normal life like this. On top of that, I had you there to watch me in the race where I tried the hardest. That was a good race. You looked pretty cool when you were on the podium. I came third though. In my previous school I was in the cycle racing club. In the final race of the first grade I was able to take the third place spot on the podium. It was my best result. For that race, Anchan traveled a long way to come and watch me. That's ziemlich cool. Third place is still amazing. Yeah. Because of Anchan's kindness, I felt a little tearful. He sensed how I was feeling and started to mess up my hair again. This time I wasn't so rough. This time it wasn't so rough, okay. Sorry. So, now you're the dorm of this place, huh? Ich krieg irgendwie immer gute Laune bei so Visual Novels, die machen aber Spaß. Yeah. The Flying Fish Manual, that brings back memories.
We used to play here a lot. We would come sneaking in. Huh? Oh yeah, that's right. That wasn't what Anchan was talking about just now. By the way, is that girl a boulder here? Someone was hiding in the shadow of the gate. Who could that be? Ah! Kotori. It looked like she couldn't get past because Anchan and I were in the way. She could have just spoke to us normally, but instead she was hiding and watching us. This girl is so weird. Hello there, Missy. Hello. Kotori was still being cautious, but returned the greeting. Then we got out of her way, then went into her... What? Then we got out of her way, and she went into her composed mode and entered the dormitory. So that girl lives here, huh? You know her? Yeah, I see her in the town from time to time. There's a big dog near my factory, you know? Pedigree? There's a big dog that goes by that name. I'm sure it was a Saint Bernard. Yesterday she was hanging around near Pedigree. Was she by any chance trying to stroke his head? Yeah, that's what it looked like. She was giving him food, but the dog only eats food from his owner. As I thought, that was in the things I want to do list. Stroke the head of the big dog in the neighborhood. It's really scary, but it might be unexpectedly friendly. If possible, I'd like to ride around on its back. So, she was skipping school to go and do things like that? Well, I'll forget about Kotori for now. Anyway, welcome back, Aoi. It's good to be back, Anchan. Tadaima. I seemed a little embarrassed as I answered, and Anchan grinned at me. If you have any problems, don't hesitate to ask. I'm your big bro, right? Parting with those words, Anchan turned to leave. Oh, that's right, Anchan. I know this is a bit soon, but I have a favor to ask. I took the parts that Amane had left with me out of my bag. Along with it was a memo with the dimensions and so on written down. I need some parts the same as these. Would you be able to get one? Anshan's family runs a factory. It's known as a town factory, and it seems that they manufacture special order-made parts. Anshan works there right now. If Anshan can't do it, he might be able to use his connections with other engineers to introduce me to other factories. Anshan looks at the broken parts and the memo. A diaphragm, huh? Yeah, okay. He quickly answered. I'll contact you once I get my hands on it. Was ist Diaphragm? Ist das nicht etwas Medizinisches? Zwerchfell, Membran. Ah, Blende, Deckenscheibe. Ja, technisch. Deckenscheibe. Okay, whatever. Die Scheibe vom Cockpit ist das oder was? Thanks, Anchan. No problem. Anchan raised one hand and turned to leave. Da hätte ich mal gefragt, wofür du das brauchst. Okay. Thanks to the fact that I was able to meet Anchan, I went back to my room in a good mood. I put my hand on the saddle of the bicycle in the corner of my room. I'm proud to have been able to stand on the podium in front of a body like Anchan. That looks like an expensive bike. Before I realized, Kotori was next to me. What are you doing here? I came in here with you, didn't you realize? Wie hat das nicht gemerkt? I hadn't realized. Do you want something? Without answering my question, Kotori opened a drawer in the desk. Okay, that's kind of weird. In here. Maybe not. Ah, okay, I see. How about in here? It looks like she's searching for something. I hope you hid it well. Boy. Not here. That's strange. I was sure that you'd have it. There was nothing that I didn't want her to see, so I was unfazed when I questioned her. Wie wird ihm das nicht klar? Er muss es doch hier irgendwo versteckt haben. Oder was hat er bitte damit gemacht?
What are you doing? Looking for something. You can see that, can't you? I know, but shouldn't you at least get the consent of the owner of the room? What about you? Give it back now. I know you've got it. Got what? It's... Apparently she was looking for the withdrawal notes that I had picked up before. You finally realized. Wow. I don't know what you're looking for, but I don't think it's in here. You definitely sound suspicious. There's no mistaking it. I know you have it. Did you say something? No. Seems like her search has come to a stop. Okay. Sie macht das halt nicht mal heimlich, sie kommt einfach in sein Zimmer und wow. However, Kotori isn't leaving the room and continues looking around the room. This is the first time I've been in a boys' room. It's pretty tidy, isn't it? I expected there to be trash everywhere. Like you? I don't have many things. Thanks to that, moving house was easy. Ooh. Sorry. Kotori was staring straight at the bike, which gave off a unique presence in my room. Ja, wahrscheinlich das Einzige, was da irgendwie ein bisschen Ausstrahlung hat. Ich finde es weird, wenn Leute ihr Fahrrad im Zimmer haben. Das ist so, es ist halt einfach schmutzig, so denke ich mir. What happened to your leg? I panicked at being asked so frankly. It's no big deal. Looks like she was listening to my conversation with An-chan. I just had a bit of an injury, but look, it's fine now. I lightly swing my leg to show her. Is the injury the reason why you changed school? It's fine, really. Why do you ask? No reason. I just felt like it. There's no need for you to worry about it. Who said I was worried about you? I'm not worried, not even a tiny bit. See you later. That was a waste of time. Typical Tsundere. Mittlerweile muss ich sagen, finde ich das ein bisschen anstrengend. Kotori makes a straight face and goes back to her room. You're going again tomorrow, aren't you? To the garage. At lunch. I'm not going, is what it felt like she was going to say. I am going, she answered, and panicked as she left my room. Looks like I should make 3 lunchboxes this time. Knowing Amane, probably more like 6. Sorry. Ich schniefe immer so vor mich hin.